Ooh.
Yeah, but you may need it for you may need it if you want to have a meeting with your clients, so it can
Yeah,
take
yeah, yeah,
minutes
yeah. Yeah, I
of the
know,
meeting.
right? I think the most thing that I need it for is any other course that I might have, so that I am not. One thing I've discovered with Telegram is, although it's a little bit easier to use, um, when people are rewatching like the playback of the video, they like the thing cuts and goes back to the Telegram screen and just keeps cutting like that. And then maybe some I have done something and the screen pauses and just skips like a couple of seconds into something else. So that's the thing that I've been trying to see whether I should use. Eh?
That's true. That's
So you get that's the feedback I got from the last cohort that I had a course with, and I didn't like that at all. So I've been looking for tools that can just help make stuff easy. A lot of people have, in fact, a vast majority of people have Gmail accounts. So I just figured, and it's not very expensive. So I just figured it's easier to just use Gmail and then just give everybody easy access to the recorded video. So basically we can just put it, I can just put all the recorded videos in a folder, right? And just give access to whoever it is that needs access to it, and they can rewatch the playback if they, if they want to. So, but yeah, this is a bold step for me. I hate paying for stuff. You know how I am tight, eh? I hate paying for stuff that I can potentially get for free. So this is a big jump for me. All right, so let's Chinedu, now you say me we can talk about Jay's Bank or and listen, me when it comes to Nigerian brands, yeah, there's very little that surprises me. And the reason why very little thing surprises me is because we have a culture of anyhowness. Yeah. We have a culture of anyhowness. We don't place a lot of importance on certain things, right? Or certain processes, or even certain people self. We don't place a lot of importance on most things, on a lot of things. We place importance on mediocre stuff, like things that just that 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 flames up and fizzles out. That's the kind of thing that I've noticed that we as culturally we like, right? So things that's why you see that a lot of people, something tragic will happen and then they will make a joke about it, and it fizzles out and they're looking for the next fix, right? So everybody within Nigeria, they find short-term happiness and whatever it is that gets them shortcuts that to their happiness, they are okay with it. Now, I don't claim to know the internal process for this logo, right? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a post I saw on LinkedIn. And the guy was so proud of himself. I was like, what the hell? I don't know this person from Adam. I don't know him. But immediately I saw that post, I had a very big reaction in my mind. I was like, this design where they here, eh? This design way before here, let me come out it. Let me come out that design way before there, because there's no way, even as a junior designer, in fact, let me excuse junior designers, let's say from intermediate upwards, there's no way that you are making silly mistakes like this at your big age, right? I'm not talking about you people directly, oh. Right? I'm just saying in general, right? So first of all, this person says, "Oh, Nigeria pioneer wanting unveils their new identity." Now from here, now I start to vex. He said, from a branding perspective, a few things stand out: modern simplicity. A new mark is bold, kinikon, geometric, and stripped down. A move towards bada symbolism. It feels dynamic, yes, azal, reflecting both progress and trust. Yellow as a does not reflect any progress and trust as an emotional vehicle. It does not reflect nothing like that, right? So moving to lowercase, yeah, I agree with this one. It's friendlier when you use lowercase. Consistency. Just look at this, right? So where does the consistency lie? Do you get? So now let's see what the former Jay's Bank logo looks like. I'm sure that these people have gotten a lot of messages and Now this is what it looks like before, right? So it's just frying pan to fire as far as I'm concerned. But this, for me, in my opinion, is still a whole lot better than what they currently have, right? One of the issues that I have with it is the use of color. First of all, people try to avoid having yellow as like their 60%, right? Or um on a white background, right? Because it has the potential to have very, very low contrast. People know the WCAG. Is it WCAG? I hope so. WCAG. Is that what it is? Contrast checker, yes. So if you're ever in doubt about the kind of thing that you're hearing, so something like this, right? So if we are applying, let me go extract. I forgot that I recorded a video on my Nara Live thing, so I was looking at the video quality to see whether it makes sense. But it wasn't too bad. I don't. It's not the best, but it wasn't. It's manageable. So let's say we have this yellow. Let me drag it closer. Let's say we have that yellow, and this is the yellow, right? All fail. Yellow against white, all fail. And we know that a lot of banks, yeah, by default, they will be using light colored backgrounds. Check any bank, check FCMB, GT, Access. A lot of them by default, we want to use a white background. So this yellow does not work. Now, this yellow against this blue, maybe. So it fails as is it like a smaller text or something? I don't know what that is, to be honest. Like it's like maybe like a small text, but like a smaller version of it, right? So it passes as use of like graphical objects, let's say like buttons, shapes, icons on, yellow icons on this background, right? So that one passes the contrast test. Let's test it against this gray one. And what they always tell people, but look at everything fail. So the only out of these two colors now, these three colors, the only or let's say four plus the white background that banks typically use. Let's say four colors. So out of these four now, the only two that has good contrast is these two. I can almost bet you that they will not be using these two on top of each other all the time. It's looking too much like Union Bank, right? Union Bank has that. Is it Union Bank? I think it's
First Bank.
Thank you, Jerry. So First Bank has already cornered the market with these two colors. So anytime you see those two colors on top of each other, you automatically think First Bank, right? Because they use a lot of this yellow, this their gold. Go on with me. A lot of this their gold on the blue, on a blue background. I don't think they hardly ever use it the other way around. That's blue on a yellow background, right? Another thing is if you want to use yellow as like the 60% as the background color, it can be too much. It's just like using red. People are usually very, very careful using warm colors as 60%. Like I mean high saturated warm colors as 60%. So let's say you have something like this, it can be very, very, it can cause cognitive load on people's eyes, right? When they see it, can feel very heavy. Let me now put. That boy did not close my door. I can almost bet I did not close that door. I'm tired. Anybody want to begin? I can't carry on. Close my door, eh? Okay, so something like this, right? this is a good saturation of blue, and this is a high saturation of yellow. So it can feel a little bit heavy. Especially maybe they want to like do maybe like tints and shade of it where it's a little bit more balanced and easier on the eyes like this. But I trust that they are not going to do that because as you can see from the launch pictures and everything, they are old people there. So I doubt if that's what they're going to be doing. Another big blunder is using freaking 4 colors on one logo because this is black. This one down here is not gray, it's black. So you use black, use gray, use blue, use yellow on top of one logo. It doesn't just make any type of sense to me. I'll slap you. Go and sit down. It doesn't make any type of sense to me to have like 4 colors on one logo. Why? I know that some people might, when I was thinking about it, I was thinking that some people will cite examples. If you raise that kind of thing, some people will cite examples, right? Examples like maybe Figma, examples like Google. So you get, but you need to look at the way they used it and the way these other people are using it. The way these people are using it, their colors are spread out. While for Google and Figma, their colors are like in one symbol. So you get. So that's then the fonts. The fonts, I don't have any issues with the fonts. I just have a big issue with the way the things, the kini are used. And then this doesn't pass the scalability test. Let me show you something. Like with this tagline here, it doesn't pass the scalability test. Except if the plan is maybe once in a while they will remove it and leave it as ordinary the logo like that. Except if that's the plan, because I don't see a world where, so let's say for instance now you read it like this, as it might typically be on social media or maybe on some branded assets. So please, what is written here that you know of? You can see with Jay's Bank, right? Another wahala is how close it is to Samsung's Bixby. See, so what the designer did was just take this thing and twist it 90-degree angle. That's what they just did. That's one of the biggest things that will make or break any logo designer. If whatever thing that you design, whatever logo you design, always do a reverse search, right? Always do a reverse search. And if whatever logo you have created is somewhere around 40 to 50% similar to any logo online, my dear, don't use them. No use them, no use them, no use them, no use them. You get? So that's my own feel. I've not seen the rest though. Like somebody was saying in the comments of this guy's post that you want to see the rationale. These guys would like, because I went through the comments and a lot of them were saying the same thing to him, that I will, see you here, Seth. So the guy was saying the same thing, that I mean a lot of people in the comments were saying the same thing that other people were saying as well, that this was not well thought out, this was not well done, this was not, like, it just felt like an afterthought, right? And I'm very grateful for some of the clients that I work with, because they will check online, does this logo already exist? And then if they find it that it already exists, others they go and bring something else. And that's what happened with Land Republic. The first logo that I designed for them is not the one that I'm currently using. And I love that logo. In fact, hey, when you've done something and you just feel it in your heart of your heart that this is really, really good. Let me see whether I can find that logo. Please confirm you can hear me well, see my screen well, and all those other 90 things.
We can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Let me see whether I can find. Okay, so this is the first one that I did for them. Let me see whether I can find the actual file. This is the one they eventually went with. All right, but this is the one. This is the one that I had done for them previously, right? That had because they said they wanted things that overlapped each other, just to represent like the 3 major things that they are doing, and all of that. So I just did something generic like this and then expressed it using, this thing. I went all out with this thing, and I did like several stuff just to show them that this is what, it could potentially look like, right? Only for them to do a reverse search and find out there's already something similar existing. I did something like this as well because they liked the letter A or whatever. So I did something like this as well. And then, we checked and found that there's something similar online as well. So we scrapped that one and came back to that tree one, this one that represents generational wealth. So the way I sold it to them was saying that after I'd gone through their website, right, I found something that was very, very significant to me: generational wealth. And this is us looking at the way land appreciates over time, because land that was sold at 400K, right? This is the one that I know for my own family member name. They bought it at 400K. I think it was a plot or two of land. They bought it at I think in 2006, right? And in 2020, is it 23? I think 2023, they were able to sell that same plot of land for, I think, about, is it 24 million? So 400K to 24 million, right? So I feel like if, for instance, your dad or your mom bought that land at 400K, and a few years later they gave it to you, they willed it to you, and you sold it for 24 million, right? And let's say you use that money to buy land, or even let's say you left that land for your future children, right? The money just keeps increasing. It doesn't shake it. So that's how I was able to sell it to them. Very importantly, there was good contrast. There was balance in terms of spacing, right? This could apply to a lot of different surfaces easily, and the mark was not very similar to anything that they could find online. Somebody raised their hand. Victor, you say you have the rationale. Come and tell us. So, what's the rationale? Are you working in the bank? Now you do that logo. No, she, you want to confess.
Nah, someone posted it and I will share to the group.
Oh yeah, now please, just so that we can maybe begin to understand where they are coming from. But this is a very, very poor. If you see as people were dragging them on Twitter, I was even surprised Leslie also weighed in as well. Although Leslie weighs in on a lot of things, but he was heated when he was heated. He said this is nothing short of terrible. I say, hey, now wow, yeah, try and have mercy. But yeah, so one of the things I also wanted to mention during this call was visual cohesiveness. There's something about you looking beyond what you can see, looking beyond what is in front of you. Yeah, what does that mean? It means that you are creating a mark. Yeah. Begin to think about how this mark is going to translate into other spaces, into other things, right? So an instance is, let's say this bank wants to hold an event like Figma Config, for instance, right? How does this mark translate into spatial design? How does it translate into environmental like interaction and design? So you get, if this mark was to be used as for activation, right? How would this mark, show up in other spaces as beyond just being a logo? How does it show up? Because the marker is something that you use to identify the brand. So how does it show up in other places? How does it work, right? I don't know whether you guys saw Figma Config. Let me see what I can pull up. The let me see, Renest. So look at this. So this is what I'm asking. How does your brand mark translate into spatial design? Right? Even if it's not directly, because this is not direct, this is indirect. Okay, you get. If you scroll down, you see how they broke down the system, right? This is all from one place, which is Figma, right? See the motion system that translated into many things, even website animation. Okay, you get. So that's the question. Look at the blueprint. So even if it's not direct, indirectly, your logo, your brand mark, your pattern, your whatever. Anyway, what do I know? But yeah, that's my position on this. I saw some of the other mock-ups that they've done. Like they did like a car, t-shirt. And the more the thing kept coming, the more I kept seeing it. It was giving 1996. It's giving we are the world, we are the children, we are the one to make a better place. So let's start living. It's giving that year. So you get but yeah, like I said, what do I know? The people that are doing this kind of work now, the agency in charge will not come out and say with their test that they don't that did it too. The dragging go too much. So anyway, best of luck to everybody involved. Questions?
So, boss, my question is, because I've been looking and I've been asking questions. If truly it was given to the recognized agency that will know, which I strongly doubt if it was given to any of these guys, because even on that link, the no answer came out to say that they have some clash of design in the time past where they did the logo for, I think, a brand, for one popular brand, and the
Mm,
brand found out that logo was similar to what is online. Then they
mm,
had to call the head of legal had to call the agency, and the agency had to do a research and also let them know that most of these icons online they are literally very free, or they are like stock images that every dictionary can buy and use. So it now depends on who is using it and what is using it to do, or why he's telling the story around it. And so what he was trying to say in the essence is that as if there's nothing wrong in stealing, but you must steal like an artist. You get, like if
mm,
you see anything similar or an idea, like I was reading the book Still Like an Artist. The writer made me understand that there's no original idea, that any idea or is just a matchup of the previous or one or two ideas. But then the long run or the end point is that if you must steal, like you said, you don't need to, if your design, whatever you're stealing, you don't need to do it 100% like the way it should, exactly how it is. You should at least be a bit creative around it. And again, the agencies, like I said, I strongly believe that it's not a reputable one. It can be an in-house one, or it can be someone in Kaduna that just gave to just do something, all in the I know you, you know me. Because truly that shape icon is very common. It's very
mm.
common. Thank you.
So here's my thing. When it comes to branding, yeah, there's no brand that is trying to look like a fraternal twin or even an identical twin. There's no brand in the entire world that says, "Oh, I want to be a twin to this other brand." Every brand has one distinct characteristics, which is that they want to stand out. Share they want to stand out. They want to be able to tell a unique story, right? So if, for instance, you go to a stock site, and which I've done before, go to a stock site, look for ideas, it only makes sense, right, to a normal human being that you should take that idea. If it was like this before, right, you can cut off the edges and have something that looks like this. Now, is this slightly similar? Yes. Is they exactly the same? No. So if you want to steal any ideas, borrow inspiration from anywhere, it doesn't always have to be exact. It doesn't always have to be exact. It's even better if you can come up with something that has, like, I know that there's no original idea in the world, right? I agree with you on that point. But it's better for you to come up with something that is like 5% similar to something that already exists, and the other 95% is something that comes from within you. Sure, you get. So there's this video I was watching. I don't know what I can get. Hold on. I'm opening my phone just in case you're wondering why. Who is sending me voice notes? I'm not around. I'm trying to open my 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 brain. TikTok. I saw a very interesting video. I wanted to follow the creator, but when I check, I don't like people that are not. I don't like to follow people that are not consistently dishing out the one thing that they are good at. So, for instance, if you are good at maybe talking about creative ideas or design in general, I just like to follow people that their life is about that thing that they are about. So, I'm trying to find that thing just to give you an idea. I'm still going to host a class about it because that's part of why I bought this Google Workspace. I'm still going to host a class about it, but just to give you a.
You begin with yourself.
Yeah.
You are the raw
So
material. He gives his students this exercise.
So this guy on TikTok is talking about filmmaking, right? He wasn't even talking about design, right? But there's something that a lot of creative fields have in common, which is creativity. You want to be creative with your filmmaking, you want to be creative with your music, you want to be creative with your artwork, you want to be creative with your design, right? You want to be creative with your textile. Whatever it is you want to do, that you're creating something, you are conjuring something, you want to be creative with it. That's the overarching thing when it comes to a lot of creative fields. So this guy now is saying that although that you can come up with original ideas if you want, that you should stop chasing them, stop chasing original ideas. Instead, follow a formula of problem, metaphor, plots, PMP, right? So first of all, identify what the problem is. The problem is, like when somebody comes to you and says, oh, let us rebrand. What exactly is the problem of the former brand? Oh, it's not cohesive, it's not kinikon. If it's a new brand, what is the problem that they are trying to solve in the market, right? Now, you now take it off to the next step. I'm going to explain the details later. I'm going to have a class and maybe have like, one thing I like about this workspace thing, you have like breakout rooms where you can go and have discussions and come back. But yeah, so after you have identified what the problem is, now you have to attach a metaphor to the problem. Do you get? So, for instance, what is the metaphor of not having money? Can anybody have like okay, let me give you an example first before I ask that question. So, for instance, the metaphor of let me answer that question. The metaphor of not having money could be a flightless bird trying to fly, right? Or a flightless bird or a bird that is stripped of his feathers. That kind of thing. That could be a metaphor for let's say for instance, you now say cost all your money and then you put a chicken in your design and the chicken does not have any feathers. So you get. So this can be a metaphor for not having money. So problem is I don't have money. What's the metaphor for that? A chicken without feathers. Okay. So the next thing is weaving a plot around this. That's from a filmmaking perspective. Now, if you wanted to apply the same logic to design, right, you could ask yourself, what comes next? So let's say this you don't have money. The next thing after not having money is let's say getting a job. Let's say this is for a job finding site, right? So are you tired of not having money? Get a job at blah blah blah.com. What happens like this from money to getting a job, right? When you get a job, you have money. That's the plot. So I don't have money, get a job, get money, right? So I don't have feathers, get super glue. Cut paper, for instance. Let's say paper, and then stick it on. So the next image that you might see is maybe the chicken in a supermarket buying glue or whatever, I don't know. Then the next thing that you might see after that is the chicken sticking paper to themselves or whatever, right? And maybe the paper even has like, like we did with Naira Live now, that it will have all those symbols and icons of money on it, right? And that could be like the plot. And it's a 3-step plot. The plot can be as long as possible. You can have like a 50-step plot if you want. You can have like 1,000,000 steps. It never ends. But that's the basic idea. So now, my question to you, right? What I'm trying to do now is just introduce you into ideation, into creative ideation. So my question to you now is, what is the metaphor for not finding love? Or not being in a committed romantic relationship? What's the metaphor for that?
We can use a single toothbrush. Good evening.
Okay. Do
Single
toothbrushes come in pairs? I think that's the first thing you might. So another thing that this guy did not mention that I found to be very, very useful or a significant part of our plot is that your plot must be relatable. Okay, and I feel like what you have said makes a lot of sense. Sure, you get. So just like how you would have, let's say, a couple's brush in let's say in a cup in the bedroom, right? But here's my thing. Here's my problem with what you have said. If I see a cup with only one toothbrush in it, do I automatically think, this person does not have love, or this person does not have something? Not necessarily. Except
pair of
if,
socks.
There is a pair of socks.
Exactly. You are getting there. You are getting there. Do you get? So if I see a toothbrush in a cup, I don't automatically think, oh, this person is lonely. The only thing that will make me think is if this one cup in a one brush in a cup and these 2 brushes in a cup are somewhere close by to each other, that you can now do what do they call that thing? You cannot do comparison. You cannot have like I've forgotten the English for it, but you can compare and you can like feel the emotional like emotional depth or blankness of this person, especially if the brush is like gray or something like that, and you have like a pink and brown brush over here. So the color also enriches the experience. So now people that are single can relate and people that are married can relate, but one brush in a cup on its own does not tell the story, except if it's in proximity to 2 brushes in a cup. Do you get what I mean? So 2 socks is natural, is relatable. We can understand it, right? Because you can't wear 1 socks and be walking up and down. So in your plots now, what kind of story do you think two socks can tell? So let's say we are even shooting a short film, right? What would be your first scene or your opening scene? It could be a man, because my ladies can never ever be lonely. So please, I don't care. My women can never ever be lonely. I don't care. So man, stand up for bed. Then he picked up 1 sock and he was, looking for him. He wear that 1 sock like that wearing a shoe and he come out to go outside. So now, almost throughout the entire thing, we don't even see his face. We are only filming the leg as a metaphor for loneliness or as a metaphor for, not finding your other half or whatever. You get? And maybe along the way, if he meets, I don't know like what the plot would be. You are the director here, you can do anything you like. Okay, you get? So that's the general idea. That's how creative ideation starts. And I'm not even supposed to teach people this one. I'm not supposed to talk about this, not even teach. I'm not supposed to talk about it today because the whole essence of me buying this Workspace thing was to host like a 2 or 3 day webinar where we can talk about it step by step and just digest it little by little until we get it. So, but yeah, there are no original ideas, yes, but from saying in essence was that stop chasing original ideas that you fully of experience in the world, to be honest. So for instance, you can say, oh, you can even go on TikTok and say, when I was young, I used to roll that tire down the street. And you will see like 5,000 other people from different parts of the world that will say the exact same thing. That, oh, me too, I used to roll tire down the street. You can say, when I was little, my house caught on fire and it burnt my left leg. And you will see 5,000 other people that will come and say the exact same thing. That, oh, it burnt my leg, it burnt my hand, it burnt my face, it burnt all my body. So you get, so you are a body of ideas, you are a body of experiences, and other people too are bodies of experiences. And that is where the relatability thing comes from. If you are able to tie the problem to something that you have experienced or somebody around you have experienced, because your body of experience does not only come from what you have lived as a human being, it could come from what you have heard, from what you have read, from what you have watched, and it could also come from what you have experienced, what you have seen. Get, so that's where the relatability thing comes from. So that guy is saying you are a body of experiences. Stop chasing original ideas. Find out what the problem is. Extract from your experience, extract from your own stories, and then attach a metaphor to it, expand it into a plot. Questions? No questions? So we can close for the day. Yeah, Abby. I didn't want to spend a lot of time anyway.
Mama, thank you very much with this
You're
few
welcome,
it was
and
very
thank you for
insightful.
bringing it up.
With this
Thank you
few
too.
tips that you just gave us now, you know, I've been struggling with
Sorry.
sometimes with image. I said with this that you just said now, I've been struggling sometimes with
Yeah.
images direction when it comes to designing sometimes for the company that I work for, because it's into finance and all of that.
Mm,
So I struggle with the conventional corporate looking guy to tell the story, and I keep telling myself that
mm,
just too cliche, it's just too common. But with this method now, this PMP thing now, it just open my eye. It's an eye opener for me. Thank you very much. And I'm looking forward for the
you are
proper
very,
training seminar. I mean, thank you very much. 1 minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem. You're very welcome. There's something I wanted to quickly mention. Using that same metaphor thing, right? There's something I designed recently. It never come outside though. But when it comes outside, I might share it. I will share it, not I might. So for instance, now we're talking the copy was referring to adding is an experience. Like, so for instance, let's say you are offering your customers a 1, 2, 3 services, right? That copy was suggesting that you can actually add one of these other services to it, and we provide that service for you, for your customers. So you get, so it's almost saying like add this thing to what you already have, and delight your customers, and we will provide that service. That's the basis of the copy. So like I said, once it is live, I will share it with you guys so you can see what it actually says, right? But what I did was I got a bowl of a bowl of cereal, right? And inside that bowl of cereal, we have like different elements that represents all the other like the icons, 3D icons that represents all the other things. There was milk in there. Some of them were soaking into the milk. Money was part of it as well, because it's asset management and all of that. It was soaking into the milk. And then there's somebody here that was pouring more stuff from a box of cereal. So you can literally see somebody's hand, pouring more coins and stuff from the box of cereal, right? Now the next place was the next because the next carousel was talking about this thing that you are afraid of, or that you might be afraid of is actually very legal to hold in Nigeria. And then I use the same, hand of the person holding the cereal box, right? And then the cereal box is labeled and branded with the company logo, colors, and everything. And it now says now legal in Nigeria. And then I put the flag and the text here like this. So you get. And then the next carousel after that was the full bowl of cereal with all the medemede together. So all the icons and the one that was being poured from the cereal box. So you get. So it will make sense when I show you the actual thing. But yeah, this was where I was going for with it, because the question was now, is there anything in my life, like is there anything that I've ever done that requires me to add something into something? And this thing was a positive experience. So I remembered, oh, okay, conflicts. Because sometimes you go chop conflicts, when you're hungry, go see they catch you, go carry extra conflicts, pour it inside the remaining milk and continue eating, that sort of thing. So it just reminded me of that, and I just went and did it. And when I shared it with the manager, I was like, oh my God, this is actually very, very creative. Blah, 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 ABCD, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you get so. Okay, you want to drop a V, and that's fine. So that's how I come up with my ideas, in case you're wondering, because now Shola and I drag my shirt, say that I should come and teach people ideation. Shola, are you satisfied now?
Yeah. Yes, I am actually.
I
Yeah.
go buy Google Space so that the thing and so that I can actually repurpose the videos, to be honest. So it's a
Yeah,
win-win.
it makes sense. Yeah, what you did makes sense, and I think the result I was hoping to look for is what Chinedu would be, the guy who said it was also a finance firm, what he did, because now I've seen a loop where designers are stuck in when it comes to expression. We all express designs in the same way, using the same images, the same ideation, the same format, like almost the same thing. Now, but when you now release your designs, you and a very few other people, it seems like a totally different expression of the same message. So my question is, okay, so there must be a certain way you are thinking that the rest of designers are not thinking, right? Because now the Nigerian Life Conference, I went back to all the designs, and I looked at it, and what I saw was a totally different expression of a conference that is not new in Nigeria. We've had several money conferences in Nigeria. This is not the first time. But your expression was totally like it was off the chart. So I was like, okay, so that's the way you're thinking. That others are not thinking that when you share, you can make others now tap into their own individual differentiation, which cannot differentiate them from the loop that is currently existing. So that was my result, and it really, really makes sense. Thank you for this, and the more that you will do.
Thank you very much, Shola. So the one of just to introduce us into what the chaotic environment that is called my mind looks like when it comes to ideation, or just the way or concept development. Let's call it concept development. Ideation is just a shorter, I don't know, but yeah, concept development. When I try to think about it here, me personally, I don't like to play safe with my ideas, right? Not that I want to go all out and do crazy stuff that is too crazy, or because here's the thing, this is the way I look at it. It's almost like a graph, right? So you have this is how I look at it. Okay, so now there is this place where we are okay. Okay, you get, we are very okay. We have Chinedu. People know Chinedu now. It's not this Chinedu that is here. You know that Uncle Chinedu, that black stock photograph guy, and Auntie Choma. Those two. Let's say you have them and they are holding money. She gets perfect. It has already passed the message now. It has done the work, right? So it's just like saying, I don't sweep the house now, right? You start to sweep the house, and I've swept the house. Sure, you get. Now, there is a second step for me where Brother Chinedu and Auntie Choma does not exist, right? So which other way can I tie emotion? This is me here, by the way. Fine girl. Oh, let me give myself hair. Crochet earring. So, so this is me here, by the way. So let's say, how can I tie emotion to experience and get excellence? Excellence in this case means that my ideas are communicated properly. It means that people are able to digest it without issue. They are able to receive that message, and we have feedback. So I've tied emotion to experience, right? Using whatever tools that I'm using, and I have come out with excellence. But that excellence is excellence to me. If to me alone, no, if does not produce these other results, if I've not communicated properly, if people are not able to digest my message without issues, and if they have not given me feedback, if these three things have not happened, that means I have failed with the design project I did. Now, this is a personal goal for me, so that you're not going to do your own thing now. You're not come out and say, oh, I did not collect feedback. That means I failed too. It's a personal milestone and goal for me that these three things must be checked on the checklist every single time, right? And that is the hallmark of who I want to be identity-wise. I want to always be able to produce this E, but having all this grandchild with it. That's how I think. Now, if you might ask yourself, like, what are these other places in the graph? You can overshoot yourself. You can be so creative that your message falls flat. That means people, like, not that it falls flat, it does fall flat. People do not understand what you are saying, right? Another thing is that there's a lower part of it again, where not only does it fall flat, it also does not land well and gives negative feedback. Meaning that you do, let's say, your International Day, Women's Day post, and just like isn't Atla, what did they do that year that I can never forget? That they went to go and carry, they said, they put a man and a woman having a date, candlelight dinner and flower and everything around the place, romantic setting. They then showed the woman being the one paying for the date, and they put the copy around, maybe empowerment, the woman paying for the date, yada yada, right? Only for us to zoom into the card, and it's a man's name that is on it, which is something. And we're like, how does this make sense? We were so excited about this message until somebody did the unforgivable, like the unforgivable, what do they call it? Unforgivable thing by zooming in. Let me reduce the volume of this thing, please. It's so loud. We can actually hear you now because you're so freaking loud. Hey, patience. Yes, you should patience. Collect. So that's basically it. So is it either that people are like, I don't understand this thing, or it could be that they understand and they hate it so much that they bring hate to your doorstep. Like, what kind of rubbish? How can people think about this kind of a thing? How dare you? How dare, like, it's something religious, it's something cultural, something gender based, something ethnic based, something racially based. All of those things. That's another thing that I want designers to learn. Cultural sensitivity when it comes to design. Stay get cultural sensitivity when it comes to design will save you a lot of stress. But I think I've spoken a lot. But do we have questions? I think we've done enough for the night, to be honest.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for the explanations and all. Please, the network, I always say the how you receive, how you judge your work being excellent, the abbreviations, ECTC something. I don't know if you could recap that. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So I was saying that this place is where I want to be, right? Did you catch that part where I was talking about me wanting to be on this bar instead of this bar? Godwin, did you catch that? You're muted if you're speaking.
Yes, yes. I'm with you. Thank you. I'm with you.
Okay. So now what I was saying is that when it comes to my work, I want to be able to merge emotional connection. Let's say people are able to connect very well with what I have done, right?
Okay.
Sorry. Well, I don't forget what is that second EP. What do I call them? Emotional connection and what? Oh gosh.
Experience.
Experience. Thank you, Jerry. Emotional connection and experience. So let me, because you have asked this question, let me go into a little bit of more detail, right? So emotional connection for me means that they are able to have like a visceral reaction. Emotional connection does not have to be positive, in my opinion, right? But it doesn't always have to be negative. When I say emotional connection, I don't mean a connection where what I have done offends people. I mean a connection where they understand the negative emotion that this thing is making them feel, right? So maybe for instance, now we're talking about rape, and somebody that that is seeing the flyer, the poster, the banner, whatever, or even the video, is even if they have not experienced rape before, they are able to experience or relieve or empathize with the sadness and the emptiness that the character feels. Sure, you get. So there's that emotional connection part. Then there's the experience part. That means they are able to relate. Sure, you get.
Oh,
But apart from even
okay.
being able to relate, whatever it is I'm creating is able to give them an experience around even the venue. Let's say I'm designing for an event. They are able to have like a physical experience with brand that is branding led at the actual venue. That sort of thing, right? And then these two things, I feel like it gives, it comes back to how does this spell excellence? Hey God, excellence. Now call it like that, right? I feel like this is what defines excellence for me. If I'm able to
Okay.
emotionally get people to connect, and able to be relatable to people, and also like create an experience for them, right? So that's those are the things I was talking about. Then I was saying that inside this excellence, so there are a couple of things that I consider the grandchildren of this thing. That if these three things are not satisfied, I am not okay. First of all, have I communicated what I want, like the message I want to communicate? Have I communicated it clearly, right? Now, digest. Are people able to digest the message and understand it easily? Then
Okay.
feedback. If I don't get feedback, I don't know whether what I've done makes sense or doesn't make sense. I don't know. Feedback in this case could be website visits. It could be amount of tickets sold. It could be physical people coming to say, "Oh my God, this design is so fantastic." It could be sign-ups. It could be PR. It could be anything. So far, people like people are able to come and say, "I hate this thing," or "I like this thing," or "I love this thing," in either in bringing their money or supplying their emails or volunteering or just anything. So far, it has done that work. Then I'm okay.
Wow.
Do you
Okay.
understand it
That's
now?
good. Yes, yes, yes. I do. I do understand it. I do
Okay.
understand it. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very
All right.
much. So the only one thing that stands in the that's a gap for me in this and is executing some ideas. There are
Okay.
times where you'd have an idea in your mind or in your head,
Mhm.
and actually fleshing it out in a real time
Yeah.
on Photoshop or whatsoever. Okay, say just I think that was 2 days ago. I had this flyer design project where
Mm-hmm.
I was to create a design for the aviation sectors. I think it's called Aviator Circle of Nigeria. So
Yeah.
it's more of a society, a club for aviators.
Okay.
And the goal for the design was to create awareness of the
Yeah.
existence of such club. I believe that should be the first of it. Or and
Create
then
awareness of what? Hold
when I
on.
was doing my research, I just applied the existence of the aviation circle of Nigeria.
Okay. So is it
So
like a community?
it's not been in existence. Yes, yes, they just initiated it.
Okay.
It was recently initiated. So the objectives for the design was to inform the audience of the existence and the benefits of joining such society. Second is to call them to join the member and be a member. So more like the CTAs join us, something like that.
Okay.
And then um, yeah, encourage them to share it. So having all of that in mind, what the first one of the things that came to my mind was, okay, I could on my canvas, I could use, normally I would start with a sky background because it's related to the aviation sector.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the idea of, okay, we're talking about a society. What are the activities that they involve in? They go out for gala nights and all of that. They travel trips and tours. They do hangouts. So I said, okay, I could have a rounded rectangle, three rounded rectangles as frames, like an airplane window or something, and then have the image, those images that represent these activities or benefits of the club inside, clipped that um into those windows. And then on the floor would be about two persons working in the aviation sector, that looks like they are walking out of like they are walking into the experience, or they've
Mm.
just experienced it. So that was the idea. But when I got to Photoshop, I sketched it on my notepad first. I have it right here before me. But getting to Photoshop, and God of mercy, I it did not look like what I had in mind.
Okay.
It it didn't. So how do we bridge that gap?
Okay. So using that same using that same um problem.
Sorry, and mind you, they did not actually provide a copy for the design. So
Okay.
I actually went about it myself. So I think finally what I the first copy I came up with was the first copy I came up with was, let me see if I would quickly pull up the design and read it out. So the first copy I came up with was network, travel, and grow inside the aviator circle. Connect
Mm.
with colleagues, explore new places, and build friendships that last beyond your job. So
Okay.
on those three windows, I had some like tags flying around. How do you call them? Yeah, tags. A tag reads networking event, another reads hangouts, one reads vacation and travel, another reads knowledge sharing, and that and that. And then I have two persons who have just experienced that stuff. I have the design right here in front of me. So I have two persons come looking like they are coming out of that experience, and then a more like a banner on the at the bottom with the call to action, secure your spot now, the membership, and then the contact details. So that's what I did about the design for the
Mm.
first one. So, but it seems as though it was not clear enough when I sent it. So they said they needed more text. So I just made the whole thing plain. I stripped out everything, stripped out the images, just left the background there and just wrote join Nigeria's first association, first society for aviators.
Yeah.
And then put in the question. They sent me some questions. Are you looking for a social club to join? Do you love all of those things? I did not really see any need for it. And then wrote what the aviators circle is about, their aims and objectives. This time around, I just listed it in bullet points. There are no really visuals to communicate the interest or something. And added the call to action. Then power clipped images of, okay, one image of someone smiling, and looks like, the idea is that, okay, this person is having a cheerful looking woman in the aviation sector who is a member of the club. And then I have another image power clipped into a rectangle saying that's of a plane communicating travel and all. And then the last is another image of a pilot power clipped into the third rectangle. So that was what I did for the second one, stripped off every other detail.
Okay. All right. So let's take it back to the beginning, right? Which is this guy. Now you can hear me well, right?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Awesome. Now the aviation something of Nigeria. We've defined
Yes,
it as a community and it's a society, right? It's something that we want people to,
yes,
look at and be like, oh, I need to be in there. It's a form
yeah,
of prestige, and it's probably going to rival other societies like maybe the Taskmasters Club and stuff like that. And it's a society
yeah,
for aviation people then, right? Now, I
yeah,
don't know whether when we were talking there earlier, you got to the part where we're talking about PMP, like problem metaphor plot.
yes, 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 I was here.
Yeah. Okay. So now my thing is this: I love how you have already begun to unravel it little by saying something in the sky, right? Because it is aviation. All right. Now, what do you know apart from planes in terms of metaphor? What do you know that also happens to be in the sky?
Birds.
Very good. Right. Now, this community is a community of prestigious people. What is the most prestigious bird in the animal kingdom?
Would that be an eagle?
Excellent. You are getting there. Sure you
Ah,
get.
gee, Christ. Okay.
Yeah, you are getting there. So now we have a couple of now we can do like a bit of mind mapping, right? We have bird, and that bird is an eagle. Yeah.
Okay.
And then in this
Yeah.
little movie that we are creating, that eagle is going to be in the sky. Now, that eagle is not only going to be in the sky, it's going to be a 3D, maybe 3D golden eagle. Did you
Okay.
get? Now, not only is it going to be a golden 3D eagle in the sky, there are going to be other golden 3D eagles on a round table in the sky. I'm just thinking out loud. You can always refresh this idea later. So let's say we have them in the sky. Let's say we have one eagle here, one eagle here, one eagle here, and we have an empty chair here.
I see what you're going to.
You
Oh
get?
God.
You get? So now
Yeah.
you have communicated
Yeah.
prestige. You have communicated aviation. The gold is giving you luxury, and now the round table is a signifier of community, and then there's an empty space that we are saying you particularly. You're not even saying everybody. we are narrowing it down to one person because we are trying to communicate exclusivity.
Yeah.
We are saying you, this is yours. So you can even put a plaque on that this thing that says you. And so then that's one way to think about it from a metaphorical perspective. Right. And I wrote this AST for you to look at it, for me to look at ideation again from another perspective, right? So for AST, we can make it abstract. Whatever visual thing you're creating, right? You can make it abstract. What does this mean? You can do all those prestigious stuff now. What did they call them? I've forgotten what the name is. Okay, I think I have a version of that on. Okay, it's not here. No, this is not my actual.
Okay.
She's coming. Give me a second, please. Let me look for it. I think it's in fact. Okay, I've seen it. So stuff like this that are abstract,
Okay.
right? They're not directly tied to anything per se. Again,
Okay.
it could be even like maybe the shape of like a 3D version of the logo mark. So let's say something like this, or something
Okay.
like this. Gets that is maybe secular, stacked, whatever. Stacked is giving hierarchy. So avoid anything that is stacked, like something that
Okay.
sits on nothing, right? Just avoid something like that. Like, because you're trying to communicate community here. So you want something that is more rounded, something that is more ahead, something like this, that is more around each other instead of on top of each other. You understand? That's
Yes, I
abstract.
do.
Now, subject and other subject, we can do two ways, right? We can do a literal subject. This is where you now say you get a man that is dressed in aviation uniform and you put him, let's say, in a seat or whatever, and then you put your copy and then you make it like a dark area and put like a light copy. When I say light, I mean like a font that is thin, that is giving money, and then you put it there and say, join me, blah, 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 right? And it could also be metaphorical. It can be a metaphorical subject,
Okay.
right? Just like, so this bird eagle thing now falls under metaphorical subject.
Subject, yes.
Then that one is a typography type thing. So this one does not have visuals. It's just typography that you use and put to communicate your message, which is what you said you have already done. That you stripped it of all visuals and just use only text, bullet points.
Okay.
You can approach this thing in various ways. But I still feel like, in fact, let us even use AI and generate one self. But our other people on the Kenya, are you guys getting it?
Yes.
Or is this
I'm
something
getting it.
gibberish?
Yes, I'm getting it. Let me speak for myself.
Okay. Let's say a golden round table in the sky. Can we do? I don't know whether we should do aerial view. Let's say front view. Front view of a golden round table in the sky. Around this table sits, let's say 4. Or maybe, I don't know, like, so for instance, now maybe like they have like 4 arms of their business or whatever. You can do 3 and then leave 1. I don't know. Whatever number is significant to them. 4,
We
6, 4.
if you use the number of perfection, I believe that level.
And you also don't want to crowd the space, so let's keep that in mind.
Okay.
Or because okay, let's say we have like 2 eagles on one side, 2 on the other side, and there's a seat in the middle. Around this table sits 4 3D golden eagles with let's say high texture. I don't know. What else? There is around this table six four around this table on golden chairs or with high texture. Okay, there is a fifth chair that is empty. So we can also add like maybe environment things like let's say the atmosphere is warm or cold, whatever is warm, the sky is blue, and the sun is shining behind them. Let's say something like this. Let's see what AI can. Please mute your mic, background noise. I don't know that you know that. Look at that. This is cool. Anyone we know do can just okay. It's not so bad, but it's not giving what I thought it would give. But I like this one though. I like this one. So we need to do the manipulation and put. I'm skeptical about using because when I saw this chair, I was like, why not use a throne chair? But I'm skeptical about putting a throne chair in the sky because it's giving barrier. It's giving dead and gone. See you later. That kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So with this one, like easy for you to cut out this other ego, paint over the table, the reflection on the table, and put an empty chair there and say, hey, okay, behind them there are clouds around and in front of the table and eagles. Let's I wonder in what other ways. So we can search for eagle. Let's say eagle. Let's just say eagle first. See what we get. I like this. If you're not going with gold, if you go with something concrete, concrete is the color of legacy. I like this. No. No, nothing. It's okay, stop it. Trying to see if I can come up with anything stronger that still involves this ego. Well, let's see. Oh no. Okay. 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 So this golden eagle thing is looking a little bit wonky for me. But I feel like I like this guy. I like this guy. I'm not sure how it will land with people. You can have a plane in the distance. Yes.
What's that? It's a bed.
Okay. So, oh no. So I wanted something like because we might be adding copies as well. So I'm just trying to see how we can position this thing in a way that it will not look weird.
It can be centered though. It can be centered.
Yeah, Centered. Yeah, I know it can be centered. So we can put the other chair here. So let's say I'm just trying to see like how the idea will land in terms of relatability as well. So say we have let's say another chair here. And we say put a plaque, like a golden plaque, and say you in gold letters, gold block letters, and say you. Then we'll put the okay, it's not too bad now that I'm adding all these other elements. We can now put your this thing here, put your sub copy, and since joining is important, that means you need to put like a link to join either here or somewhere at the bottom. So now that I'm arranging like this, is making a little bit more sense, but then you still need to add a bit more cloud and a plane in the distance. So yeah, you can put a plane in distance, fade it out into the background. Let's say put one coming like this, put one going like this from both ends to like anchor the two sides of the pages. Then you can add clouds to the front. Let's see whether I have any clouds. I should have. It's giving me creative cloud. Who ask you? Okay, see. Let's just manage this one for now. So let's say we have something like, I don't like how here saturation, locking, doesn't have any color. So let's turn it down. Something like this. And solid color. Just give me this yellow one. Okay, so I think overlay is okay. Okay, more orange. Actually done yellow. All right, so I'm not going to obsess over this actually. Okay, so maybe something like this, just to give you like space for you to write more stuff. You can select them out of the background, add more clouds to the background, and just so that it looks realistic. Let me press this cloud down a little bit. So just something realistic like this. Yeah, but just something generally in this direction. That's one, Sha. So you should come up with more metaphors for stuff like that. Maybe use just like you said with the plane thing. I'm not planes communicate travel more than they do community. Because remember that the most important keyword here is exclusive community that aviation people can join, not necessarily travel. Travel is not the main guy here. The main guy here is community. So how do people communicate exclusive communities, right? So you can, just search for other metaphors. You can even do something that we have even done. So if you know all those Brazilian flyers that used to have things flying around, you can even have a golden feather flying around. Sure you get. And that golden feather could also be relatively abstract elements that you can use. So imagine on a let's just quickly do something. Hey, this guy used juju. There's no way because why am I still here? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
Thank you so very much. This is
Who is
just
thanking
mind
you?
blowing. I must tell you.
Who is thanking you? This one where the follow talk say, you're still doing. So let's say further. Hey, whoa. So you know all those like black and white type things. Let's say golden feather, so that we'll not waste time doing too much edit. Let's say something like this. I don't really like this one. I want something that feels more like actual gold, like something like this. But this one is illustration. Something that feels more like textured gold, like something like something like this. But we get what we get and we don't complain. For now, I will have liked if the feather curled a little bit. What are we doing? Let's look for what we actually want to see. Something like this that looks very organized. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. Okay, so let's say we have something of this nature. I don't really like the way this thing is sitting. I wanted something, you know what? No upsetting. No, die. Stay one place now. We also do this. Going down the distance. This is not one of those cases. Okay, so let's say we have something of this nature, right? We can change the drop shadow to an airplane. So that way it's not saying flight per se. Huh? So it's not saying flight per se. So whatever shadow that comes in is an airplane shadow, right? So that's one way to consider it. You can also put a wing because I saw this wing and it just called to me. I feel like it did call to me. Oh, now only me hear the call. Oh, I don't the Chris. They will. There's this white and golden wing like this. This guy. But this one looking more like angel wings. Well, you get what I mean, Sha. So let's say you get let me see what I
Boss,
can find.
in that wing, can a plane be inverted to be in the center of it?
In the center of the wing.
Hmm. I'm not
I'm trying
thinking.
to avoid being literal with that plain thing.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Trying to avoid being true literal. So this is what I'm thinking for this one. Right. So let's say we have something like this. We're not even going to see the face of the ego. Because we are trying to like allude to being like let's say a high flyer. Let's use that English. So let's say like become one of like be one of the feathers in our wings, that kind of thing. So you get, so be one of the feathers in our wing, join the Kinikon community. That's another in a way. So now we are creating a plot from only this bird thing. Oh. So we have created like several plots like this now. So this could be one of them, like become a feather in our wing. Another one could be a cap. Well, caps that have feathers are more ethnical. Like they are more Igbo, just basically Eastern than they are anything else. So, and we're not trying to be tribal here. So I wanted to say become a feather in our cap or something like that. So you now put a cap that has like 2 or 3 feathers or 5 feathers, and then you say become a feather in our cap, that kind of thing. But it's Igbo men that usually wear caps that have feathers, and we don't want it to look like, oh, this is an Igbo people club, instead of it being an aviation people thing. So we can put this thing here. You can even make these feathers into plane, like the shapes of planes. I don't know how you want to achieve that, right? But you can make it into shapes. You don't do self. Go see person. Now me that they pay the money.
Thank you so much.
You even add everything for comment section self. Hey, whoa. But yeah, whatever
Sincere.
button you're using, let it be very strong contrast from the background, because again, this is the action you want people to take. You want people to join, you want people to share. You also are in a position to influence the process. That's another thing I want us designers to understand. I think we've talked about on Telegram, talked about the many hats that the designer wears, right? And one of them is you being a stakeholder manager. All right, one of them is being a stakeholder manager, understanding how things work so that you can contribute to it from your perspective as a designer. So if, for instance, they are saying, call this number, go here, click link. Now, if the process is too much, right? People like this do not have that kind of time. People that are joining exclusive clubs do not have that kind of time. So if there's a form that they need to fill to join your community, put a short link of that form and make sure there's a very strong contrast. Sure you get, right? Put a short link of the form. Instead of saying contact this number, when you now contact the number will not give you a link. You will not click the link, you will not fill a form. After you now fill a form, they will not, sure you get, that process is just too much. So high contrast button that has the link directly to what you need people to do, and just close it out from there. Oh yeah, come and be going, don't do.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. This is mind blowing. Like, we literally went from 0 to 100 in how many minutes? Like, it's
Yes, so
crazy.
and
My key takeaway from this is this image concept for design. How understanding that they could be abstract, they could be
yeah,
according to the subject,
subject based,
and then
yeah,
they could be
or
typographic.
typographical.
It's crazy, like it's literally mind-blowing, because when I take on projects, when I take on a design, I have not actually thought about how different the
Yeah,
concept I can come up with,
yeah,
right? But with this understanding that, yeah, okay, are we going abstract, or are we going by the subject, or do we want to go
yeah.
typographic? This is an entire game changer. Thank you so very much.
You are welcome. Oh, thank you very much for even bringing it up. I think it was a learning opportunity for other people as well. Not a lot of people get to see or play with or be involved in real life projects, right? And it feels, I think it's good that people are able to see stuff like this. So, guys, thank you very much for coming to my TED Talk. Just like, you know how we roll now. This can happen any other time, I don't know. But we'll try and make it accessible to everybody. I'm still like working out the settings of my my new Google Workspace. So once I'm done with that, I will begin the process of creating a flyer, and then we can now also, what is even the metaphor for creative ideation self? Is like planting a seed in my head. That's what I'm thinking about. Or uncovering something. In what part of our lives do we uncover something? No, that one is giving more of lunch than anything else. I'll think about it. No worry. All right. What about bye?
Could you be writing something?
Thank you. Bye.
Nah, I don't want to do generic stuff, but don't worry, I'll figure it out.